So yesterday, Sony revealed their premium games coming to PS Plus Premium for the month of June. And man, I haven't actually been excited for a PS Plus Premium since the thing was announced. Because when it was announced, I was hoping we'd be getting a mixture of PS1, PS2, PSP. I was hoping PS3, but I'm going to be honest, I was doubting it then because I'm pretty sure they're just going to stick to PS Now or the streaming service for the PS3 games and not work on actual emulation for the PS3 system. So I was like, man, that sucks for that. But hey, at least we'll get games from PS1, 2, and PSP natively on the PS5. But, the issue was we've only been getting PS1 and PSP games on the service. And like a lot of games they were putting on the service were games that can be played already. Like for example, Medieval, it was already remade for PS4. They released the PS1 version on PS1 Classic, which is that's cool. And then they released the PSP remake of that PS1 game for PS Plus Premium. And I'm just like, man, why are you just giving us games that you already released twice? And they did that with Ape Escape. They gave us Ape Escape 1, which is great. And then they also gave us Ape Escape on the Loose, which is the PSP remake of that original PS1 game. Which is like, yeah, that's cool, but like, I was hoping for the PS2 games. I feel like a lot of people were hoping for PS2 games. But besides the games that they already like released a couple years back as the PS2 classic games on PS5 or on PS4, they haven't done anything until now. Yes. Yesterday they revealed that PS2 games were coming to the premium collection, and they're actually really good. Well, one of them in particular is what I'm excited about. So there's Tomb Raider Legends, cool. Star Wars: The Clone Wars, all right, cool. But the big one for me is Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, which the Sly Cooper games were my childhood. I loved those games growing up, playing it on my PlayStation 2. I bought the games again when they were released on PS3. And, it's been, over 10 years now since, Sly 4 came out. And even then, that game was, it was all right. I never finished it because, I don't know, it wasn't as good as the Sucker Punch games. But finally, we're getting at least the first game on modern hardware on PS5, which Trophy supports, hopefully. And it's just like, finally, because I subscribed to this service hoping that we were going to get more PS2 games when the service came out, but it was only PS1 and PSP games. And they even did the weird thing where even if the game was, they considered games that are classics to also be the remastered versions of games that were released for the PS4. So, for example, I believe Last of Us Remastered is considered a classic game on the premium service, even though that's just a native PS4 game that you can play on PS5. Instead of just having that in their just regular extra category, they decided to put it on premium, which is weird because they also have games, they had Final Fantasy VII, the original version, but they had that as an extra instead of a premium because, that game originally came out for the PS1. But this was a remastered version that they decided to, just have it as an extra. So they were kind of weird when it comes to what games was considered a extra category of game and the premium category of games. And so sometimes they would take games that were remastered and slap them on the premium, even though they're just native ports of those games. But now we're finally getting just full-on PS2 games. Which is, man, I'm so excited because, man, the PS2 has a lot of games that are just, you can't play on PS5. For example, the first two God of War, you can't play on PS5 or 4. Even though 3, the final game of the Greece saga, is on PS4, which you can play on PS5. But if you're someone who got into God of War with the 2018 game and Ragnarok, you probably haven't played these games yet because Sony never released them. So I'm hoping that soon they will release the PS2 God of War games and the PSP God of War games on the PS Premium service, so more people can play those and actually play the original Greek games of the God of War games. And there's just so many PS2 games that are just like we can't play them on PS5 yet. Like for example, the Ratchet and Clank games. I know people love those games. I haven't played them yet, but I'll probably play them if Sony put them on the subscription service on PS Plus Premium, a service I'm paying for. And I just really hope Sony decides to push more PS2 games from now on. I hope this isn't just like, oh, they'll do it every once in a while kind of thing. Like every year they'll put 3 PS2 games. I hope that like every month we at least get one PS2 game, at least one. Like give us one PS1 game, one PSP game, one PS2 game, and I'll be fine with that. And like please make a good PS2 games. Like give me the God of Wars, give me the Twisted Metals, give me the Sly Coopers, give me the Ratchet and Clanks. Give me games that you guys own, but well actually I believe Twisted Metal Black, for example, the PS2 game is on PS4, so you can play through that. But okay, fine. Let's talk about the Eco game. Eco. Give me Eco. Put that on PS Premium, please. Sony. Come on. Like, you have those games right there. You are the publisher for those games. I don't know why it took you this long to even start putting PS2 games on your PS5. Like, man, just, honestly, if they just continue to put out PS2 games in a, like, decent pace where, I don't know, we're like at least once a month we get at least one new PS2 game on the service, then honestly, I'll be happy. Like, honestly, that's what I feel like most of us paid for was PS2 support, because we were really hoping that we were getting PS2 games, because, the PS2 is still Sony's most popular console, best-selling console, and it's this best-selling console for a reason, because the games are so good on that console. And I would love just to have more of those just being able to be played on the PS5 with trophy support. So Sony, just keep adding more PS2 games, please. Put Sly 2. I hope Sly 2 comes soon. Please, Sony, please. Like, this is what I was paying for premium. Please just give us more PS2 games. All right? I'll catch you guys later. See ya.